Memorial Day is right around the corner, which means longer days and for us, super hot weather. Now, during the hottest and really the dirtiest time of the year, homeowners can't afford any surprises. So Chip Wade is here with some top home improvement projects that we can tackle this summer, and also really some basic maintenance tips so we don't get hit with those surprises. Chip, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Y'all doing good this morning?
Yeah, and I think this is the perfect time to talk about this because you're right. I don't want any of those surprises. I don't want to end up either hot or outside having to fix something. And I know really that starts with that maintenance part that I was talking about.
That's right, but it doesn't always have to be bringing in a pro. I'm going to give you some tips on that in a second. But let's start with DIY. We all have a sense that we want to do some parts of this stuff ourselves, and there's some easy things that we can start with. The first is just a good reminder to change your air filters. That's not the tip, it's how often. Every 3 to 6 months, you want to be changing your air filter. A lot of times people neglect that, leave it in too long. It's going to cause a lot of strain on your system in these hot months when it gets really warm. The next tip that's DIY is inside your laundry room. Now, you may be familiar with these front load washers and dryers. They're very popular. I have them myself. But one thing that can happen with these front loaders is they can sometimes stink a little bit. And the reason, there's nothing wrong with the washer, it's just that water gets trapped in this front gasket and mold can grow, and that's what causes a little bit of an odor. The easy DIY fix for that is simply getting some cleansing agent. This is called Washer Magic. This is an easy thing to get. Put on a rag, wipe down this gasket, and then just run a hot water cycle with no clothes in it. It's gonna clean it right out. I also recommend when you're not using the washer, just leave the door open slightly. It gives it just enough air circulation to keep that gasket nice and dry. It's gonna just smell good a lot longer. Now, in the kitchen, some DIY easy tips is to change out the water filter in your refrigerator. This is something people oftentimes forget as well, because this is supposed to be every 6 months, okay? A lot of people think, oh man, I didn't even think I had to change the water filter. But this summer, there's gonna be a lot more strain on the refrigerator, a lot more bodies coming in to get a sip of water. We want it to be clean and tasting great, not just cold. We're gonna get that with a water filter. So if this needs to be changed every 6 months, your air filter needs to be changed every 3 months, how do we keep all this straight? It's a lot of numbers going around, and I get busy and I forget too. So what I do is actually set up an auto renewal program where I can put the different items and the scheduled replacement so it comes to my house delivered at the time it needs to be replaced. This just makes it out of sight, out of mind. It shows up and it works. A great place to do this is actually at SearsPartsDirect.com. They got a great setup that just allows you to program all that once, set it, forget it. You just put it in when it comes in.
Well, that's what I need. I need someone to do the reminding, so that's a perfect place to do that. But you did mention there are some instances where we may need to call in an expert for something. What are some of those?
That's right. So the big main systems of the home, obviously we can replace air filters, water filters ourselves. That's easy DIY. But making sure that we have routine maintenance and spot checks on our actual heating and air system. That's that central hub system that's going to take the most direct wear and tear this summer. You don't want to try to do that yourself. That unit on the outside of your house needs to be evaluated to make sure the refrigerant levels and everything is working properly before it gets a lot of load on it. So you're going to want to bring in a pro for that. Also, anything having to do with your kitchen appliances. I do not recommend any homeowner start pulling panels off, starting to do electrical work or anything in kitchen appliances. You definitely want to call in a pro for that. If you don't know whether you should or not, look in your owner's manual. If the instructions are not clearly defined there, it's very likely not a DIY project. So it's just a good kind of litmus test for whether you should do it yourself or not. Now, if you have a pro on speed dial, fantastic. If you don't, nationwide, you can find a professional at SearsHomeservices.com to come and do all of this stuff for you. But really, my advice is whether you do it yourself or hire a pro, do it soon, because that summer weather's coming, and we just want to sit out and enjoy it rather than working.
Absolutely. I'm going to do all of those DIY things you were just telling me about today, so I'm starting day one on all of those items. Chip, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.